Hey everyone. I've had some people ask what the other side of my lathe looks like, so I thought I'd show you my dirty woodworking corner of the garage. That's to hide everything that's behind there so you don't see it. One of the benefits of doing the videos like this is I have to clean up after every project, so that's actually been a pretty good deal, because I used to have just a pile of sawdust everywhere. Today, on this one, I'm going to be doing a set of Celtic pens, and I'm just showing you, we've got a Buckeye, Burl, and a Tiger Oak. And they're one barrel, so it's really easy to just cut that down to size and then start drilling. So it's not going to be a whole lot of detail in the video, just a few things to talk about. I think I've done 3 or 4 of these purple stabilized blanks, and every single one of them comes out like sidewalk chalk. So if you're going to do that, be prepared for it. The other thing, I noticed that this was really starting to get hot, and so this was the first time I've had to kind of take some water and cool it down, like working in a machine shop again. Just really wanting to make sure the hole size stays the same. When you get heat and debris in there, it's just gonna not fit as well as it would otherwise. So, took a lot of time cooling down the drill bit for both of the blanks, but they turned out really nice and no blowouts in the back. It's actually raining pretty hard outside here. You might be able to hear that. Now I've never done a Tiger Oak before, and kind of had the same issue with heat, but it's a very different kind of cut because the fibers are running along the blank horizontally, and you can't really tell so much when you're drilling, but we'll see later as I start to turn it, it flies everywhere, and it ends up looking like you took your lawnmower and flipped it upside down and pulled up all of the cut grass and then just threw it on the lathe. That's what it ended up looking like. So I had to clean up quite a few times. Maybe someday I'll have a dust collection system or something, but not yet. So here you can already see it's like taking a weed whacker to it, and it's really weird because of the green, but it's just coming off in very long slivers because of how the grain is. And it's easy to turn, it's not hard. It's fairly soft, but it just went everywhere. But I think it's worth it. The effect is really cool. And it's so much. The person that I made these for, this is a special order. It's a double set for a wedding present. So they picked out the wood and they picked out the hardware, and I think they did a pretty good job matching that up. Look at this. This is horrible. And that was just after really kind of getting it to round and to shape. I haven't sanded or anything yet. It's just everywhere. So I'll clean that up and get back to sanding. Sanding wasn't too bad. And on both of these, I don't remember which way I cut the video, but both of these pens I did 200, 400, 600 horizontally, vertically. And the tiger oak in particular had a lot of deep, I mean, it's oak, so it's got very big pores, and doing the horizontal cut that way with the grain had a lot of deep grooves. So I was trying to really be careful about making sure a lot of that was not exposed too much, especially on the ends. And gonna get some mineral spirits and see what we're working with. That's really cool. Another trick that I picked up on the internet is using coffee filters for a rag that doesn't have any lint. And this is the experiment that I did with the other video, making the friction polish with lacquer. So I've got a 1 part lacquer, 1 part boiled linseed oil, 1 part lacquer thinner. It looks really, really nice, really high gloss, but as you can see, I'm just not getting it to warm up and harden. And I've had this problem before when I make my own shellac based versions, and I think it really just has to do with the linseed oil, because there's not enough time for it to either soak in or harden. And so what I ended up doing is adding more lacquer. So it ended up being like a 2 part to 1 to 1, and that still just wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do. It shined nice, it just wasn't putting a finish on it that would be thick. So I think the end of the experiment is really, if you're going to do a project that you can wait for drying time and just, finish it, sand it up, and put a rubbing finish on it, this is going to look amazing. I didn't really have the time to do that, and I wanted to build up coats for protection. So I ended up just switching back to my spray lacquer and then using the micro mesh to sand it down. I think if I do that from now on, I would use, so you can see the deep grooves there, and that finish just isn't going to fill it. I think from now on, if I do that, the wipe on lacquer with the oil in it is a really good first coat, and you can put that on and let it sit, and then go back and do the spray lacquer, or even put shellac or a CA finish on it after that. But it's just not good for a pen finish, is the end of that experiment, which we'd probably figure out. That's why everybody uses shellac, but I wanted to try it because I like that. So here we're back on the Buckeye Burl, and he just always has such a great grain. I was working on one yesterday and I actually busted it, and that happens sometimes because of the way the grain is and the way it's stabilized. Every once in a while you just get one that'll pop or crack or didn't stabilize well. So I lost one, but this one turned out really nice. And again, nothing fancy on the shape, just trying to make them pretty much the same. I think the green one ended up being a little bit thicker in the midsection, but overall, matching pair. And we're just finishing up the shape here. Another thing to note, I get my kits from Penn State Industries. They are wonderful. They always make sure everything fits, is not broken. They'll replace things that don't work. Just a really, really great company. But for some reason, this Celtic set and the Dragon set and the Faith, Hope, Love set there's a couple that are kind of in that same group of sizes and materials, and they just don't have the tolerances to make the end of the pen where the bushings are supposed to tell you what the size is. That's not always the actual size of the part. So I was kind of disappointed in that, because when I put it together, it left a little bit of hangover. So I don't know. I'm really picky about that stuff anyway. Some people might not notice. But I want that to be perfect, and for some reason those bigger sets, the quality control on those just isn't the same. Again, here I'm putting the wipe-on lacquer. I'm going to do this as a first coat and then use the spray. That just ended up working really well. And I really like these purple, blue, black finishes that they do on these stabilizations for this. Maybe I'm a sucker for that color, but I just think it looks really cool. So I will be buying more of those in the future. Yeah, it's just not doing what I wanted it to, so we went to the spray lacquer, which still is unconventional, but I like it, and it's fast. And I didn't really do a assembly video, but these are the pens when they're done. I think they turned out pretty good, and I'll be using some more of those blanks in the future. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to some other videos, doing some other pens and some other projects.